as we continue with our dailies this morning. And of course, as you've just seen, that is exactly what happened to the ODM party leader, Raila Odinga. And of course, on the other hand, the president yesterday spoke about that incident. And that is, of course, what I've just read in the Daily Nation newspaper this morning. And the Standard, the same story, very well broken down on the national page 8. And the headline is Raila attack MPs grilled. And the DCI summons 3 politicians to shed light on incident that has shown a spotlight on election-related violence. And President condemns incident, says all aspirants should be free to campaign in any part of the country. And we have DCA grill MPs Sudi, Kositani, and Speaker of a Friday attack on Raila. And 3 North Rift leaders were yesterday questioned in connection with Friday's attack on the ODM leader Raila Odinga in Uasin Gishu County, and in an incident that has shown a spotlight on election-related violence. And during the incident, maybe from the this Standard Story newspaper, it says during the incident, a helicopter carrying the Azimio La Umoja One Kenya presidential hopeful was pelted with stones, compelling the pilot to abort off. And MPs Caleb Kositani of Soi, Oscar Sudi of Kapseret, and the Speaker of the Uasin Gishu County Assembly, that is Mr. David Kiplagat, presented themselves at the Rift Valley Regional Directorate of Criminal Investigation, that is the DCI, offices to shed light on how the attack was planned and coordinated. And at around 5:11 p.m. that is Mr. Kositani, Mr. Oscar Sudi, and Mr. David Kiplagat, together with their allies, told journalists that their phones had been confiscated to aid in the investigations. And maybe if we can just take a direct punchline from Mr. Kositani, he said that we have given all the information they required from us. They have also confiscated our mobile phones for forensic analysis, and we are very comfortable with that. And maybe if we can continue with our dailies, that is first of all the front pages of the Standard and of the Daily Nation as well. Maybe back to the Daily Nation, we can see a different story of a corrupt judge, rogue lawyer, and a sinister plot to abet terror. And that trusted officers of the court can betray their country to terrorists in a classic example of the enemy within. Of course, this is a story on the page 6 and 7 of the Daily Nation this morning that says that corrupt judge and lawyer implicated in plot to aid terrorism. And we have that trusted officer of the court can betray their country in December 2011. That is, of course, a story like over 11 years ago, that is in December 2011, Somalia-based Al-Shabaab terrorists were planning attacks against specific targets in Kenya, that is including the United Nations offices in Nairobi, and the parliament as well, and the security installations. But they were supposed to be retaliatory attacks. And 2 months earlier, that is on October 16th, President Mwai Kibaki had ordered the Kenya Defense Forces to cross the border into Somalia in pursuit of militants who had carried out numerous cross-border raids. And the plot against Kenya was not an idle threat, because Nairobi had been rocked by 2 separate grenade attacks on October 24th, 2011, and the twin blasts came less for others of each other, were not initially considered terror attacks, because after all they had no claim of responsibility. No one, of course, could have been claimed of responsibility. And amid the accusations, we've seen a judge and a lawyer who has been seized by security agents, that is the Directorate of Criminal Investigation, the DCIM. He placed a bounty of 10 million, that is for Bure's capture, accusing him of plotting reprisal attacks. A story very much well broken down on 2 pages, that is under the national pages in the Daily Nation, that is the national page 6 and 7 of the Daily Nation. A story that is very much well broken down as well. And maybe just to take a brief on that story, we have, after the arrest of the beat Jamal Din Yahya, that is an Al-Hajir fighter, there were attempts by the groups to have him released on a reduced bail amount. And as the central to this plan was a lawyer. His name, of course, has been withheld for some legal reasons, and a confidential Al-Hajir source told the monitoring group that the lawyer said the lawyer had in the past secured the release of the Somalia-based fighter and other members, that is in quotes, by fundraising to bribe members of the Kenyan judiciary. But the report cites dated February 16, 2013, which is achieved with the United Nations, in which the lawyer refers to Thabit as a good leader that had shown proficiency in gathering intelligence. That is all in quotes. And a Kenyan High Court judge as well is reported that he agreed to grant Thabit a reduced bail after receiving the bribe. And of course, if you just like to read the whole story, it's in the pages 6 and 7 of the Daily Nation. And on the front page of the Standard this morning, we have the Grammys Dream Run for Jabali Africa Band. That is a story in the national page 3 of the Standard newspaper that says the Kenyan band Jabali Africa nominated in the Best Children's Music Album category at this year's Grammy Awards. That is, the ceremony was slated for early today. And we have this saying, of course, maybe we'll just begin with how they rose to fame. That is a story you need to understand on the page 3 of the Standard. The band that was formed by brothers is known for its fusion of rock, reggae, and African percussion. That is the Jabali Africa Band. And the band chose its name from the Kiswahili word for rock, that is Jabali, and included Africa as a reminder of its heritage. And in 1996, that is, of course, over 26 years ago, the band gained attention by appearing in an episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. And their nomination now to the Allowed ceremony was a moment that came full circle from their appearance on a children's show back in 1996. And this was before they got their first big break in the United States, where they are now based. And the band, composed of some individuals, we've just mentioned a few of them, is Josek Asikoye, we have Justo Asikoye, and Dumisizwe Behemem, first landed in the US on June 1995. The story is very much, of course, well broken down on the national page 3 of the Standard, and maybe on the Standard newspaper as well. We always have on the second page the echoes from the past. And of course, these are stories that discusses more about things that has happened before. And today we have how Roosevelt, that is Churchill, exploits bird safari African. And we have an African safari is a hot item on many a tourist bucket list of watching wild animals roam free in the world races. And this is a story that goes back as to 1908. That is on April 11th, that is 1908, where if I take a punchline from Mr. Ashi, he said, I have heard that it is your intention to visit this country for big game hunting, and I beg to state that I have a 5,000-acre farm in the very heart of the best game country. And maybe that is the story on Echoes from the Past, that from as far as 1908. That is some years back, that is on the third page of the Standard. And maybe back to the Daily Nation as well, we have on the front page again a story that is in line with Raila and Ruto, where Nanok says that who is also the Director General of Deputy President, that is the Turkana governor, said that why he abandoned the ODM camp for the Hustler Nation and their path to victory in the August poll, why the deputy out with his boss, President Kenyatta. On the Daily Nation, this is a political story, page 10 and 11, that it explains why the Turkana governor Joseph Nanok ditched Raila for Ruto, and of course the reasons as to why he had to leave the ODM party leader Raila Odinga and of course join the Hustler Nation. And the reasons are very much well broken down on the pages 10 and 11 in the Daily Nation this morning. Maybe if we can have a quick look on the same. We have why will the charter capture, and we have it will capture the priorities of different counties and involve people in all economic sectors, beginning from markets, circles, traders, cooperatives, producers, or whether of livestock or even coffee or tea. And we are bringing all farmers together to discuss what their priorities are, is one of the priorities, and what do they think the government can invest in. And of course, that is a decision under 2022 on the Daily Nation this morning. And just to continue reminding you of our SMS code, that is 24044, in case you'd like to join in any of our conversations this morning, and of course in any of our programs on SHANI TV, you're most welcome. On the SMS code 044, now our social media handles remains SHANI TV on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and of course on the Facebook we have SITG into brackets SHANI TV. That is where you can of course watch us live on any of our programs. And so far we're just having a look on our dailies from the Kenya's bold newspaper, The Standard, and from the Daily Nation as well. And maybe before we have a quick look on the traffic updates, maybe we can have a look on this side of the Standard, where Kalonzo has returned to Azimio campaign. A story very much well broken down on the national page 10, that is under politics on the Standard newspaper. And if we can have a look on that, we have Kalonzo joins Azimio campaigns after Raila camp meets demands. And we have Wiper leader, that is Mr. Kalonzo Musyoka, has joined Azimio presidential campaigns after a deal on sharing of government slots. His allies now claim. And of course, I remember we had a look last week when we had the conjoining of the Moja and One Kenya alliance to a name that is Azimio One Kenya. And we have Kalonzo has also had the coalition party name altered and factoring in the One Kenya Alliance, that is the ORCA, in the final document to be submitted to the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties. And remember, a few that is after the NDC, the National Delegates Conference of the Azimio La Umoja, that was held on, that is at the Kenya International Convention Center, the KICC. After the signing of the papers, I remember the Wiper leader, Mr. Kalonzo Musyoka, claimed that of course he signed the papers, but he couldn't tell what exactly was in those papers. But of course, the last week we saw his demands being put on the table, where the Azimio La Umoja conjoined the name. Of course, the name was changed to Azimio One Kenya. And that is why we are saying that the Kalonzo Musyoka now can join the Azimio campaigns after Mr. Odinga, that is the ODM party leader and the presidential bearer of the Azimio One Kenya Alliance, Raila Odinga, meets his demands. And yesterday, the Wiper Vice Chairperson, that is Mutula Kilonzo Jr., said that the outstanding issues were being sorted before the Friday signing. And if I can just take a punchline, a very short punchline from the Wiper Vice Chairperson, who is Mutula Kilonzo, he said that the agreement sent this week sorted part of the outstanding issues. And the outstanding issues, of course, even different so different political holders, different seat holders, of course, speaking about the same and said that hakuna makasiriko tena, of course, because they had some issues there before. But after the signing that took place on Friday last week, they sorted all their issues out. And on the 19th of March, we have, that is when Kalonzo Musyoka hosted President Uhuru Kenyatta and KANU chairperson Gideon Moi at his current home amid reports of disgruntlement in his party. And of course, we saw what exactly the president talked with the Wiper leader, that is Mr. Kalonzo Musyoka, because we know that the president of the Republic of Kenya, that is Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta, and the ODM party leader, Mr. Raila Odinga of the ODM side of it, and the president being the party leader of Jubilee, and Jubilee and ODM being in the Azimio La Umoja coalition. Of course, they are just serving under the same coalition. And if I can just remind you, when we say a coalition, of course, it's a conjoining of different political parties that come together. That is why we are saying we have over 25 political parties under the Azimio La Umoja. And continuing with the Daily Nation as well, we have a different story about the early marriages blamed for girls skipping KCSE. There is a story on the education side of it on the Nation, on the landing page of the Standard, where early marriages and skipping of the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education examinations is some of the blame that has been put in place for children who are getting early pregnancies as well. And we have the online classes pushed us to become top, that is in quotes, under the education. And we have Mombasa's top performers in the KCP examinations have said online classes played a major role in their success. And if I can just take a little back, we remember when the schools were closed, there's some of the students who are, of course, continuing with the virtual learning, but to some of them, that is when they got married. And of course, that is how that story is very much broken down on the page 13 of the Standard, how some young kids, of course, had to get married. And as a result, they had to skip the KCP examinations because, of course, some of them were in their families and some of them could not be traced. And that is why, on the other side, the better side of it, we have the top performers from Mombasa County who are saying what really helped them is the virtual learning. And we have 11,523 is the number of students who failed to sit for 2021 KCP examination that is now worrying stakeholders in the examination sector. And in the 11,523 who missed the examination, some of them could have been lost, maybe some of them were pregnant, and some of them were in marriages. That is 11,523, a very huge number, missing the KCP examinations. And we have, despite registering for the examination, some students were locked out due to various reasons, and now education stakeholders are demanding intervention. And this is a story as well on the page 15 that says that a concern has been raised over the increasing number of students who fail to sit for the Kenya Certificate of Primary Education. And of course, I've told you the exact number being 11,523. That is a huge number, and that is where the concerns has been raised so far. And we have analysis of the just released 2021 examination reveals that the 11,521 candidates failed to sit for the test, and this may be a drop from the 12,424 candidates who failed to sit for the test in 2020. This is something that has been trending. In 2020, we had over 12,000 candidates failing to sit for the examination. And this year, that is from the previously released 2021 examination analysis, we can see it is 11,000 failing to sit for the examination. And we have players in the education sector are now demanding to know why so many candidates are missing the examination, with the situation being worse in last 2 years. And some experts have blamed it on the registration of candidates, saying that which is normally done before the examination. And we have a direct punch line from the Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers Secretary General, that is Mr. Akelo Misori, who said that we need to register candidates during the examination year, not a year before the scheduled time of the test. And of course, this is something that has been continuing. The candidates get registered a previous year before the year of the test. For example, the 2022 class, that is the 2022 candidates, have already been registered in the previous year, that is 2021. And that is what the Kuppet Secretary General Mr. Missouri is calling for. And maybe they should try registering the candidates on the examination year. If it's 2022, they begin the registration on the same year. And if maybe I can just continue with the punchline, say that there is a likelihood that some candidates may drop out of school due to pregnancies, that being one of the reasons, and maybe due to early marriages, and among other facts. And of course, we have this story very much well broken down with, of course, 530,000 number of students who failed to sit KCPE examination in 2019. That has been a crisis in the last 2 years of the examination. Of course, being 32 minutes past 7 a.m. That is our time for the traffic updates in the major roads in the country. And before maybe we have the traffic updates, I would just like to remind you of our SMS code, that is 24044. And of course, that is the exact SMS code. Very simple to memorize, very simple to remember as well. I'm sure it's, of course, displayed at your screens. And the SMS, apart from the SMS code, we also have our social media handles. That remains SHANI TV. That is on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and on Facebook is it SITG in brackets, SHANI TV. You can help us get you feedback on social media handles as well, your questions, and of course what you think about us. And if maybe we can have a look on the traffic updates, being 33 minutes past 7 a.m. I'm sure most of you have left just your workplaces. And maybe before that, if we can just get to sample some of the simple comments coming on the line this morning. I can see Jackie B, you tuned in from Nyamavila as usual. Thank you very much for tuning in. And of course, I have Jose Wazima, again, you tuned in as well. And just to remind you, today is on a Monday. And on Monday mornings, it's all about political issues. And today on the program, we shall discuss about democracy and Kenyan politics, because of course we've witnessed, apart from the ODM party leader being attacked on Friday, on the previous years we have also seen the Deputy President receiving some attacks. Some few days ago, we saw the women representative for Nairobi County, that is Esther Passaris, being attacked as well. And of course, there is a very funny clip that people used as a meme that went viral after a woman claimed the Azimio when the Deputy President, of course, was speaking. We shall have that later on the program. And being 4 minutes, I'd like us to take a very short commercial break, and of course when we come back we shall tackle fast the traffic updates in our major roads in the country this morning.
Grace Life Church invites you to our Sunday services. Join us for fellowship, prayers, uplifting praise and worship, and life-transforming sermons. The order of our services is intercession from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., ambassador service from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., and celebration service from 10:15 a.m. to 1 p.m. Come and experience overflowing blessings with Pastor Dr. George Paul as we declare divine breakthrough for 2022. We are located in Kitengela town, off Nairobi Namanga Highway, along Prison Road, 100 meters from Ruby's petrol station. Welcome to the House of Destiny.
Welcome to Sagana Greens by Kenmark Realtors Limited. These 50 by 100 plots are located in Sagana town along the new dual carriage, Kenol, Sagana, Marua Highway, and are ready for immediate development. They are ideal for family homes, hotels, holiday cottages, or commercial development. water, electricity, and other social amenities are available. Enjoy the offer price of 850,000 Kenya shillings and get an instant 10% discount for cash buyers. Title deeds are ready. Free site visits are every Wednesday and Saturday. For bookings and reservations, call us on 0721737300 or visit our office in Kitengela Town, Pena Towers, Suite B6. Kenmark Realtors Limited, your getaway to home. Live in a beach life city, enjoying coastal lifestyle with a cool breeze and ocean tides as you watch the sunset. In Malindi, touching the Kilifi Watamu bypass, sitting just 100 meters off the white sandy beach in a gated and controlled development next to Malaika Beach Hotel. Finca Properties Limited offers you a 50 by 100 plot for only 1.5 million shillings. Electricity and water is available on site. This property is ideal for residential homes, cottages, holiday homes and hotels. For inquiries, bookings and reservations, SMS the word plot to 40.
Of course, welcome back as we get to look at the traffic updates as per the major roads in the country this morning, because I'm really sure that most of you have, of course, left your houses, and we need to get you updated on the Morning Informant and direct to the Mombasa Road. As you can see on your way to town, there is at Casina area on Mombasa Road. There is a little bit traffic, but from town all the way to the Machakos and Kajiado areas, no traffic at all. And maybe we can continue having a look on the Mombasa Road this morning. You know, from the Casina, that is near Mlolongo area. There is no traffic at all as you come on your way to town. And as you get to approach, of course, you have two places in Mombasa Road where they're prone to traffic in the morning. We have the Syokimau area, and as you can see this morning, near the Syokimau Katani Road junction with Mombasa Road, there is traffic from town and on your way to town. There is a two-way traffic to those who are accessing the town on Mombasa Road near Syokimau area. There is traffic, and from town on your way to Machakos area and the Syokimau area as well, there is traffic. But from there onwards, coming up on Mombasa Road, very much passable this morning until you move and reach the Syokimau Airport Road. Another traffic as well. And but on the side of from town, it's not that hectic. As you can see, it's a very short traffic. But of course, on your way to town, that is where all things are this morning. It's not moving at all, as you can see, or maybe it's rather moving very slowly, because a red line indicates how slow the traffic is. And maybe you can continue with Mombasa Road on your way to town. Apart from the Syokimau, there is no some signs of another traffic. Maybe if we can have a look again, there is another traffic being witnessed here. Look, that is at the junction with if maybe you can have a look and see which point exactly is this morning. We can have the adopter light. That is where another traffic is being witnessed. And of course, the traffic doesn't begin there, because as you can see, slightly below it, there is traffic. It continues. The Cabanas area, traffic again on your way to town, but from town, there is no traffic. And as you continue, the traffic continues all the way, as you can see, that is on Mombasa Road until you reach the Masai Road junction with Mombasa Road this morning. And of course, as you can see, another traffic as well is from town on the way to the Cabanas area, that is the Etimara Daima. As you can see, just a little bit traffic, but not that hectic at all. Maybe we can continue this morning to Ukome Next Gen Park, no traffic at all. Moving on near the Plains View Estate, no traffic at all. That is Mombasa Road. But of course, as you approach the South B area, as you can see, at the junction between the Mombasa Road area and the Langata Road, as you can see here, there is another traffic. You can see, witness, that is at the roundabout this morning, though it's not that traffic. And maybe away from Mombasa Road this morning, we can have a look at this side of the Langata Road this morning. As usual, there is always traffic here. That is near the Wilson Airport. As you can see, there is always a slight traffic on your way to town as you get to approach the Mbagathi Way roundabout. And of course, maybe we can have a slight look on the side again, as from the flyover from the junction between Langata Road and the Southern Bypass. This area is prone to traffic. But of course, today morning, being a Monday, the expectations are so low. It's not always like this. But of course, today the traffic is very short, because it's near, or it's only near the Nairobi Dam Estate from the headquarter area. It's not that long traffic, but of course it opens up. As you coming from the side of the town on the Langata Road this morning, no traffic at all. As you come to join Thimba Gathi Way this morning, that is in the near high-rise areas, traffic at all. As you can see from some few meters from the Nyayo high-rise estate, you can see it's traffic all the way until you just come to join the another roundabout with the Ngong Road this morning. The Valley Road, a little bit traffic, but of course as you come to continue with the Valley Road this morning, no traffic at all. Kenyatta Avenue, traffic as you approach the Central Business District, that is the CBD, and as you coming from the CBD via Kenyatta Avenue, Valley Road, no traffic at all. And maybe we can have a look at a different road, that is the Thika Superhighway this morning, as usual, near the Globe flyover. As usual, there is always traffic, and if we can have a look from maybe the sides of Alsops this morning, if you can have a look near the Mathare area for this morning, as you can see, traffic on both the service lane and both the highway, that is near the driving area, and the traffic continues all the way to Pangani as usual. And that traffic as well affects the road users who are accessing Athi town from the Kiambu side of it, because as you can see from the Kenya pipeline on the Kiambu side of it, there is traffic that as well continues up to the Pangani area as well. But there is from the CID area, as you can see, there is traffic, a very hectic traffic, a continuous red line that continues as you come to join the Thika Super Highway on the Pangani area. And of course, on your way to Kiambu, just a little bit traffic from this side of it, but it opens up as well. Northern bypass, no traffic at all. And maybe we can have a look again on our major, another road that most of us get used, that is the Ngong Road this morning. Maybe we can have a look on that this morning, and maybe before that we have a look on the Waiyaki Way this morning. Waiyaki Way near the Chiromo roundabout, as you can see, there is traffic, but of course as you continue on your way to Westlands, there is no traffic at all as usual. And there is the Chiromo area, there is as you come to approach the Riverside Drive, there is on Waiyaki Way every morning, we always get information from the different road users claiming or even complaining of how the traffic is hectic. But of course, as of today, there is no traffic being witnessed on that. And as we are continuing, of course, to the side of the Ngong Road this morning, Ngong Road, as you can see from this side of Ngong Road, no traffic, not that hectic traffic at all on this side of Ngong Road. And but there is always traffic being witnessed as you get to approach the roundabout with Mbagathi Way. Of course, the most of the places where we see traffic, it's either there is a junction in between two roads. For example, the Mbagathi Way and the Ngong Road, there is always a little bit traffic because of traffic from the side of Mbagathi, and also have traffic from the side of Ngong. And as well, maybe that might be the first reason. The second reason might be maybe accidents on our roads this morning, and maybe the third reason might be works ahead. As you always move, you can see maybe the Syokimau area, we are all sure that there is the expressway, and that is why we always experience some traffic hiccups in that area. Maybe having a look on Thies and Ngong Road this morning, some of the areas from the junction between the southern bypass, no traffic at all until you just come to approach the stop begins, though a very little bit traffic. And maybe in some different roads like Kikuyu Road, no traffic, Kabira Road, no traffic at all, James Gishu Road, very much passable. And maybe as I'm winding up the traffic updates, we can have a look on the Central Business District this morning, that is the town. Some of the streets where we're experiencing that without maybe before that, sorry, I won't forget to look at the side of Jogoo this morning. And from Dawn Home, as you can see, there is no that traffic, there is no that hectic traffic, but as you approach the Makadara area, that is where the traffic begins. As you come to Mbotela, traffic continues as well. And there is another area that is prone to traffic, that is the Kaloleni area near Shauri Moyo. There is always traffic, and as you get to the Nairobi Stadium roundabout, from that all the way to Lathis Road to Kamukozi area, traffic as you approach town this morning. And as you can see at the Mudure Southeast Commercial Park, traffic again, that is on the side of Lathis Road from Jogoo Road this morning. And maybe to some different streets, like I had said on Kenyatta Avenue, traffic as you approach the town, as you can see, but from town there is no traffic. On this side of Murang'a Road, there is only traffic at the Globe flyover. And maybe those are some of the updates on our traffic. And maybe we always promise you that we on our happenings, on our different roads. In case of an accident, we will always keep you updated. And of course, on that note, we take a very short commercial break as we continue with our daily updates on our bold newspaper nation here on Morning Informant. Back to the daily updates on our newspapers this morning, direct to the news making headlines on our counties. And maybe we begin with the county news on the Standard newspaper this morning. From the page 21, we have automated tea sales to boost farmers. And just to remind you, yesterday we saw the Agriculture Cabinet Secretary, that is Mr. Peter Munya, speaking on the fertilizer prices. And of course, he told those who would wish to buy the fertilizers must go for the fertilizer in the NCPB centers. And there is a limit. You cannot go there and maybe buy over 10 bags. The limit is only 10 bags. If you are getting to access the fertilizer from the NCPB centers, you'll only have go for the 10 bags. And on the page 21 of the Standard, we have automated auction will boost earnings, ensures transparency. And we have the Mombasa tea auction has been fully automated to boost efficiency and transparency. And East Africa Tea Trade Association, that is the EATTA, which runs the auction, said that the new integrated tea trading systems cost 230 million. And we have the automotion was funded by the Danish International Development Agency through the trademark East Africa. And in Nakuru County, still on the Standard, we can see court fails to stop eviction of residents. And residents of Estate 4 and Moi Flats in Nakuru City are facing eviction from the houses owned by the Paretram Processing Company of Kenya. And last week, we saw Justice John Mutungi of the Environment and Lands Court declining to stop the eviction after petition by the occupants. But he ruled that the petition by 18 of the tenants lacked merit and dismissed it, and saying that the petitioners wrongly invoked the court's constitutional jurisdiction. And the same story is accompanied by the renovation side of it with vacation notice, saying that their company disputed the claims by the 18 tenants, saying that in the reply, the company was served with 3 months vacation notices on June 4th, 2020. And John Mutungisa now is saying that the petition as drawn did not plead with provisions of the Constitution were breached and or violated, and how the same had been violated. And maybe to a different county before I get to sample some of your comments coming through our SMS code, our social media handles, that is on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube as well. Maybe in a different place of the country, we can see in Kisumu, farmers gifted dairy calves, and the farmers in Kisumu Northwest Award received 11 dairy calves from Governor Anyang' Nyong'o's administration, and the calves are in addition to others early distributed to boost milk production in Kisumu County. And of course, maybe if we can just get to sample some of your comments before we get to the news making headlines on the Daily Nation side of it this morning. I can see you tuned in this morning, and on the side of SMS code, I can see good morning, Gonjo. I don't see Christine. I'm watching you guys from Kitengela. My name is Jennifer. Of course, Christine is not around. She's not with us, but she'll be joining us very soon. I'm all alone in the program, as you can see, but thank you very much for tuning in as well. And Jennifer, thank you for your comment. I have a different one here again from David. David, you're saying, good morning, Morning Informant. I'm really enjoying the show on Syokimau. On my way to town. Thank you, James, for tuning in. And Jane from Limuru, your comment is with me here. Of course, I can see your comment. You're saying, good morning, Morning Informant. Indeed, it's a very cold morning from the Limuru side of it, as usual. Remember, there is we used to work with one of the colleagues from the area, and of course used to complain of how the area is cold. I've witnessed it myself. I know it's very cold, but thank you very much again for tuning in. Those are some of the comments, and maybe I shall still continue to sample some of your comments again on the social media handles before we get to the top portion, because first of all we have to end our dailies today, and as I said earlier on, we need to have a look on the county news on the Daily Nation as well. And this morning we can have just to remind you, today's on a Monday. Don't forget about that. And on Mondays, we all have political issues. Today, being on a Monday, it's all about hashtag political Monday, where we have to get the updates about political issues. And today, it's very interesting enough because we're going to tackle things to do with democracy and politics in Kenya. With some of the issues that maybe came up last week on Friday, we saw it ourselves, and I don't have to keep on repeating because we have videos that will have to support that. And direct to the county news on the Daily Nation this morning, we have Kalonzo headache as allies face off in Wiper primaries, and we have, with barely 10 days to the Wiper primaries, party leader Kalonzo Musyoka's walking a tightrope after his allies, and who are and Machakos County governor seats. And we have months of concerned efforts that's to broker a deal between the former Kitui Governor Julius Malombe and Mr. Kiema Kalonzo, a former Kenyan envoy to Uganda, who are eyeing the Wiper ticket for the gubernatorial race, have failed. And yesterday, we saw from the updates on our news desk, of course, we heard the Mr. Malombe, that is the former governor, who was saying that if he gets to be elected as the governor come the August 9th general elections, he shall make sure he completes all the projects that has been put pending by the Charity Ngilu's administration. And those are some of the promises he said. And of course, we had his clip speaking. And that is why we have the entry of Mr. Musyoka's son, that is Kevin Musiaya, has complicated the Wiper nomination race. Mr. Muasia, is expected to be Mr. Kilonzo's running mate. And maybe in Nakuru County, that is still on the Daily Nation this morning, we have the agrees to review per diem rates in Naivasha, and hoteliers in Naivasha have a reason to smile after the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, the SRC, agreed to review allowances payable to civil servants who attend events in the lakeside town. And Naivasha was downgraded 9 years ago, and its per diem rates reduced. And we have as well the affected businesses in the town as well, because when such kind of a thing happens, some businesses get to be affected. And we have the governor of Nakuru County, that is Governor Lee Kenyajui, expressed concern on the downgrade, which he said has affected businesses, and maybe having a direct punchline from the Nakuru governor. He said that I request the SRC to conduct a review of the rates because the importance of meetings, incentives, conferences and exhibitions to Naivasha investors in the hospitality sector have been incurring losses. And those are some of the news making headlines on our counties, on our dailies this morning. And just to keep on reminding you, in case you'd like to join in our conversation, the SMS code is 24044, and we all go at SHANI TV on all our social media handles. But on Facebook, it is SITG in brackets SHANI TV. And being 1 minute past 8 a.m. That is 59 minutes to the top of the hour. We need to take a flight that we always take in the morning. But of course, today, unfortunately, I'm all alone. I need to take the flight alone direct to the news, making headlines on the international realm, and start the beginning with the Daily Nation. Not the Daily Nation, but of course the Kenya's bold newspaper, that is the Standard. We have the Pope prays for an end to Ukraine war. That is a story on how the Catholic Pope Francis prayed for Ukraine to end the war. And this story is on the page 28 of the Daily Nation this morning, that is under the world news. And maybe if we can have a quick look on it, we can see that Pope prays for an end to Ukraine war and suffering of immigrants. And Pope Francis prayed for an end to the sacrilegious war in Ukraine, that is in quotes, and for the world to show kindness and compassion to refugees, as he concluded a 2-day visit to Malta that was dominated by his concern for the devastation unleashed by Russian invasion. And though short, the trip has been particularly taxing the 85-year-old pontiff, who is suffering from painful strained right knee ligaments, and he struggled repeatedly to get out of his chair, and his limping gait from a sciatica was so pronounced that he frequently had to grab onto the arm overnight. Said basically is a story very much well broken down on how Pope Francis prayed for the people suffering in Ukraine. And as we all know, the Russian invasion to Ukraine has continued for more than 5 weeks now, and so far a lot of people, millions, to run away to different countries like Poland, Hungary, and different neighbors, because of course when war comes, and that is why we always keep on emphasizing that when there is war, it is a good idea we try as much as possible, we put our country into a political stability or even any form of stability, because when instability comes in, we always see different people suffering. And we have Pakistan president dissolves parliament at prime minister's request, and Pakistan president dissolved the parliament, setting the stage for early elections after the prime minister sidestepped a non-confidence move earlier in the day. And we have Imran Khan asked President Arif Alvi to dissolve the National Assembly or the law-making lower house of parliament, accusing his political opposition of working with the United States to overthrow his government. A story very much well broken down on the page 29 of the Standard newspaper this morning, that is under the Standard World News. And we have a direct punch line from the Pakistani Prime Minister, that is Imran Khan, that says, I ask people to prepare for the next elections. Thank God, a conspiracy to topple the government has failed. And without forgetting the Daily Nation side of it, a very different newspaper, where we have as well the international realm news. And having a look on the world news on the Daily Nation this morning, we can see the same story of Pope Francis is as well broken down on the Daily Nation side of it this morning. And we can see what exactly the Pope prayed for, because he also reminded people, the world at large, to become very, very, very generous when it comes to acting with immigrants in the country of Ukraine. And because the time is not really on our side, we need to have a quick look on the news making headlines as well on the side of sports. And we have Kenyan women rule European meetings. That is, it was a bounty harvest for Kenyan women distance runners competing in various races in Europe. And less than 5 months after winning the Abu Dhabi Marathon in the United Arab Emirates, Judith Jeptam cruised a victory in a course record time of 2 hours, 19 minutes and 48 seconds. In yesterday's Paris Marathon. As you all know, the Paris Marathon is of course continuing, and the 26-year-old took almost a minute off the previous course record set 5 years ago by compatriot Purity Rion-Noripo, that is in the French capital. A story on the page 36 of the Daily Nation. And we have how the mighty have fallen. Hori Egypt won't be in Doha. A story on the page 37. As you all know, we are expecting the World Cup come November this year. That is some few minutes down the line. Immediately after the election that we have in the August, we shall have like approximately 2 to 3 months to the World Cup. And there has been a theme tournaments in the different places, that is the countries versus countries, to just come up with qualifiers. And we have that Egypt will be in Doha because unfortunately it didn't make it for the qualifications. And we have I'm a strong believer, a story about Osman Bukhari, who is celebrating the team beat Nigeria. That is the Ghana's team beat Nigeria to qualify for the World Cup 2022 in Abuja on March 29. And he is, of course, a strong believer in miracles, and he's saying that he can trace these to the days sitting under the Sunday school teachers. And the Bible tells us, that is a direct quote from him, that the Bible tells us that train a child the way he should go, and when he grows up, he'll not depart from it. And in that spirit, if the Bible says Jesus walked on water, I believe it like, well, the gospel truth. That is a story about Osmal Bukhari on the page 37 of the Standard newspaper this morning. And maybe if we have a quick look why Manchester City versus Liverpool match could decide title winners. That is a story on the 40th page of the Standard that says top 4 with 8 games to go. That is table on the last page of the Daily Nation, and that is the last maybe story shall have a look on before going for the short commercial break, and that will of course usher us in to the topic of discussion. And we can see as Liverpool manager Jurgen Klopp put in the next Premier League game is a big one. We can hide from that. And as recently as January, few would have looked at Manchester City versus Liverpool on April 10 as being quite such a huge game in the title race. And we have Man City with 30 points, with 73 points, Liverpool with 72 points, Chelsea 59, and Arsenal with 54 points. And today's fixtures are as follows. We have the Crystal Palace, which shall play with Arsenal. That is at 10 p.m. East African time, and being 9 minutes past 8 a.m. I would like to have a quick look on this side of the comment section that is on all of our social media handles this morning, and I can see you tuned in, and thank you very much for continuing to tune in this morning to all our social media handles. And I can see someone SMS code. I'm sure the SMS code is really displayed at the screen, but of course the SMS code remains 24044. Very simple to memorize, very simple to remember. It is 24044, and we always go as SHANI TV on all our social media handles, beginning from Facebook, which is SITG in brackets SHANI TV, and on other social media handles being Twitter, Instagram, YouTube as well. It's a SHANI TV. 10 minutes past 8 a.m. I just like to have a quick look on the comment section. I can see Shiroshish, you tuned in from Kajiado, and thank you very much for tuning in. You saying good morning, Morning Informant. Thank you for informing me. I also have a different person who saying good morning, Morning Informant. I'm hoping that I will join in the conversation when it comes time for the topic. Yes, of course you will, because the topic that we have today is very simple. It's all about democracy in politics in Kenya, as per what exactly has been happening. And today, of course, we shall have a deeper look on this chapter 4 of the Kenyan Constitution. And what the chapter 4 says, chapter 4, it's all about the Bill of Rights. You have the freedom of expression under that. We have the freedom, political rights under that as well. We also have the freedom of movement as well. That is all we shall be looking at after this commercial break. And before that, just for the last time, I'd like to remind you of SMS code, that is 24044, SHANI TV on all our social media handles. But on Facebook, it's SITG TV in brackets SHANI TV. See you after the break.
.309 or call us on 0721 737 300 or visit our website at www.finca.co.ke. Come to our offices in Kitengela Town, Pena Towers, Suite B6. Title deeds are ready. Finca Properties Limited, prime and affordable.
Welcome back, and thank you very much for tuning in to SHANI TV. To maybe you tuning in, this is the Morning Informant with me, Gonzo Minor. And of course, I'm never all alone. It's only that today I'm all alone, but of course, things has to continue. And today, being on a Monday, as I told you earlier on, it's all about politics. And Mondays, we all talk about political things. And today, we must be very lucky because we need to have a topic that is, of course, kind of discussion. We understand democracy and politics in the country. That is what we are tackling today. And maybe before that, we can have a quick look on the president's speech as per yesterday. And of course, after the speech of the president, I shall let you know what exactly is all about democracy and politics in Kenya. The reason as to why we did choose this topic. It's all about democracy and politics in the country being the topic. And of course, 24044 remains our SMS code, SHANI TV, on all our social media handles. Please have a look on this clip. That is the President of the Republic of Kenya speaking yesterday at the AIC Church in Pipeline, Nairobi County.
Lakini ningependa tu kuhimiza jambo moja, na hiyo jambo ambaye tumeisikia leo ni neno la amani. Naambianga wenzangu sana ya kwamba Kenya hii hakuna mmoja wetu ataihama. Tunaelewana? Hakuna mmoja yetu ataihama. We are here to stay. And if we have been blessed by God with this nation, it behoves us as individuals who stake claim to this nation as their home to ensure we protect it.
And that was the President of the Republic of Kenya, that is Mr. Uhuru Kenyatta, speaking yesterday. And of course, he had to speak this after what happened to the ODM party leader, Raila Odinga, that is on Friday. It was in Gishu County. And we saw group of young men from maybe Mr. Junet Mohammed, exactly what he said it was over 500 people, and that they were seen attacking the chopper belonging to the ODM party leader. But and maybe fortunately or unfortunately, there was a stone thrown. From the image that circulated all over social media, we could see the broken windscreen on the left side of it, exactly at the point where the ODM party leader Raila Odinga was sitting. And the president yesterday was saying that, of course, if these maybe stone by an accident had to hit the man, it would have put the country into a political crisis. And direct to the topic being democracy and politics in Kenya, we really need to understand, am I as a person, me as a person, or you as a person, are you really allowed to access any part of the country? A country that is a very democratic country being led by the Constitution, and the Constitution governs all of us, and we have a very important section. Of course, the Constitution is very broad, but this morning we're going to look at the side of the chapter 4 alone, that is the Bill of Rights. And before that, maybe we can get to just explain from the dictionary directly what democracy means. It says it is a system of government by the whole population or all the eligible members of a state, typically through the elected representatives. That is why we have the president. He's our elected representative. We all have our different political leaders. We have our members of parliament. We have our members of county assemblies, that is the MCA. We also have senators, women representatives. Those are elected representatives. Those people who get to represent us in the houses, because of course we cannot get there to represent ourselves. And we have different incidences apart from the one that happened on Friday you was in Gishu County, that is to the ODM party leader Raila Odinga. We have also had similar incidences in the country. And remember, there is this one that happened to the President William Ruto, that is in Kondele, Kisumu County, and that was in October 23, 2021. We saw the Deputy President William Ruto meeting resistance. Maybe if in the Kondele County, we saw the Deputy President actually his convoy being hit with stones. And apart from that, we also see in October 23rd, 2021, the Deputy President again was met with resistance in Busia County. And on this was his second day of his tour in the Western region. And after the youths had to block the road for him, they lit bonfires at Corinda Junction and pelted his convoy with stones. That is in Busia County. So it means this is something that has been happening all over the country. It's not for the ODM party leader Raila Odinga only, because in October 23rd last year, not many days from whatever happened on Friday, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya was attacked by a group of men in Busia County. And of course, maybe before I continue, I need to show you the clip, exactly what happened to the UDA, currently the UDA bearer. And that is the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. I would like to show you exactly what happened to him, and maybe we can have that clip before we continue. As you've just exactly what happened, so that means something that has been on the trail, and from the clip you might be able to identify that maybe if I just take the gender being men, the young men of course being used to do that. And in the Kenyan constitution, as we get to continue with the topic this morning, that is chapter 4, as I said, that is a Bill of Rights, article 33. It's all about freedom of speech. That is in the Kenyan constitution, and the freedom to seek, receive, or impart information or ideas. It also talks about the freedom of artistic creativity, as well as the academic freedom and freedom of scientific research. That is on the first part of it. On the second one, the right to freedom of expression does not extend to one thing: propaganda for war, incitement to violence, hate speech, or even advocacy of hatred that constitutes ethnic incitement, vilification of others, or incitement to cause harm. The big question being, exactly as what you've heard of the Kenyan Constitution, the right to freedom of expression does not extend to propaganda for war. So that means as long as this person is not inciting for propaganda for war, as long as this person is not inciting to violence, as long as this person is not speaking or using hate speech, he has the right to express his different ideas directly and exactly from the Kenyan Constitution. That is the chapter 4, article 33, under the freedom of speech. And so the question here remains, why exactly do we need to cut short or maybe to kind of restrict our political leaders from accessing different areas? Doesn't mean because I'm from this ethnic group, I don't need to access this area. It doesn't mean so, because as long as this person, sometimes it's good to listen. I remember there is one of my lecturers who used to tell me, sometimes just listen to someone. From 1 million words a person can speak, of course you cannot miss to receive or get 2 words that will make a change in your life. A wise person, exactly what he or she does, a wise person listens first and of course gets to analyze exactly, because you take what belongs to you. I remember there is one of my co-hosts as well who always say that you can speak 100 words, but of course if it doesn't fit you, just leave them alone. Let them pop to the air. The same thing. Where exactly do we need to look or maybe try to chase our different political leaders, because maybe we are not supporting them if they are right? Of course, you have your right as a person to support any political leader that you want. You have any right as a person as well, again, to have support on any political party that you want. It's your right. That is in the Kenyan Constitution and the political rights as well. And moving on, we have in the exercise of the right of freedom of expression, every person shall respect the rights and reputation of others. That is in the Kenyan Constitution. Exactly where we see some leaders going somewhere, using some different terms which actually can cause war. That is unconstitutional. But how can you be able to tell that this person speaking the right thing without first listening to them? That is why we are saying whatever has been happening, we need to understand the democracy part of it and politics in Kenya, because being a democratic citizen, you need to understand what exactly the Constitution says. Any person, even if it's maybe you might think it's a fool, you might think because of lack of a word, I'm really sorry for that, but maybe that is how you can try to classify people. Maybe you think this person might be mad. This person is under the roof of the Constitution and he or she has the right to communicate in any part of the country. The fact that you stay in any part of the country, it doesn't prove any ownership. It doesn't mean that that is your area. You can choose. You see, the best and the right idea for you to do is exactly, maybe you can leave this person to speak and say, no, I don't want to listen to you. Go, keep yourself busy. But coming out to throw stones on the convoy of different political party leaders, it's so unconstitutional. It's so unethical as well. And of course, before you're winding the show, I shall help you to understand what the Constitution, the Penal Code, Chapter 63, as revised edition by the National Council for Law Reporting with authority of the Attorney General, says on this side of anyone who willfully and unlawful destroys or damages any property. I shall help you, of course, understand that as we continue. We also have, apart from the right of freedom of expression, we have a different thing about that. And we have the freedom of movement. That is in the Kenyan Constitution as well. That is under the same chapter, Chapter 4, Bill of Rights, but Article 39 that speaks about the freedom of movement and residence. And on the first part of it says that every person has the right to freedom of movement. And exactly what do I mean when I say the right to freedom of movement? You can move from Kajiado to Mombasa. You can move from Mombasa to Kitale. You can move from Kitale to Nairobi. You can move from Nairobi to Wajir, any other part of the country, as long as you're not being toxic to the people in the area. And that is the first part of it, an emphasis. Every person has the right to freedom of movement. That is directly from the Constitution, Article 39 of the Chapter 4 of the Constitution. And every person has the right to leave the country. Today we might not be dwell much on that because it's your right as well to leave the country. And the third one, maybe under the same, every person has the right to enter, remain in, reside anywhere in Kenya. I would like to emphasize on that. Every citizen has the right to enter, remain in the country, and reside in any part of Kenya. You can decide, I would like to buy a plot of land in maybe the central province, and I'm not a Bantu like they are. Maybe I'm a Kushite, maybe I'm a Nilot, but that is the place that I want to live. Nobody needs to question you because maybe you don't come from the area. It's your right as a person to reside in any different of the country. And maybe I'd like us as well to have a look on exactly what happened to the motorcade of the deputy president again in Kondele, Kisumu County. That is on November 10th last year. We need to see exactly what happened. And as I'm saying, the freedom of movement, it means you can move to any part of the country, as long as you're not becoming toxic to the people in the area. But of course, the deputy president was innocently airing his manifesto people. And of course, as I'm telling you, as you're watching me this morning, of course, it's a good idea. If you don't want to listen to any politician, kindly, you can just decide, I won't turn up for the event. Why should I come out and listen to him? You can decide, I want to go and do my things. And on November 10th, 2021, we saw a mob which held a deputy president motorcade in Kisumu, that is in Kondele, that is Kisumu County. And this forced the deputy president, William Ruto, to cut short his speech. And I would like us to, maybe in the next few seconds, we shall have a look on that video. But of course, that is right before we take a short break. We need to have a look on that. But of course, as we come back, we shall continue with the topic. It's all about what happened to the deputy president at Kondele area in Kisumu County. Please have a look.
Kama hiyo ndio demokrasia. Raila alikuwa Rift Valley akakaribishwa, akakuwa Central akakaribishwa. Sasa hii siasa tukianza, hata sisi tukisema watu wetu Raila asiingie, hii ni siasa kweli? Lakini wananchi wenyewe wataamua. Wanaona kiongozi na wana kusha. Tumeumia sana.
Hebu niangalie vile.
Kama hii ni kubwa kabisa. Hii ni mawe kubwa. Ona hata hapo juu. Si tuorganize vile tutarudi sasa hivi. Ni aje? Ndio maiwai kabisa. Aish.
And as you've seen exactly, that is what happened to the Deputy President in Kondele, Kisumu County. And being 33 minutes past 8 a.m., I'd just like to sample some of your comments coming in on our social media handles and our SMS code as well. And beginning from Facebook this morning, I can see Fit Love, you saying my favorite. Thank you very much for tuning in. With Grace Life Church saying Gonjo, Informant Iko Chonjo. Thank you very much. We have Mwangi Ibrahim. I'll have to look at the translation, but of course I know this means looking good, my friend. Thank you very much for tuning in, Mongi Ibrahim as well. And of course I have Fit Love again, who is saying my favorite, making me proud. Concerning democracy and politics in Kenya, all I can say is let our young men look for something else to do. That is Fit Love. Fit Love watching us from Muthaiga. Thank you very much for tuning in. And just to keep on reminding you, our SMS code remains 24044 in case you'd like to join in our conversation this morning. That is the SMS code you can use, 24044. And our social media handles is SHANI TV on Instagram, Twitter, and SHANI KE on YouTube. And when it comes to Facebook is SITG in brackets SHANI TV. That is where you can get us, air your feedback as well as you get us to understand. And as I can see, you continue to join in our conversation. And the question is, what exactly do you think has happened to democracy and our politics as a country? Because so far we've seen a lot of crises. And maybe I would like to just sample your comments before we continue. That is some of your comments coming in through our social media handles again concerning the topic of the day and our SMS code as well. And I have good morning informant. I'm really enjoying the show from Ukambani. Thank you very much for tuning in. That is Jafet. And I have good morning Gonjo. At this point in time, it's not good for people to be engaged in violence. Leaders will be chosen on 9th of August through votes and not stones. If you cannot tolerate a certain politician, don't attend his or her rally. That is Davidson watching us all the way from Nairobi. Thank you very much for tuning in, Davidson, for such comment. And moving on, we have Josephine from Githurai, who is saying this morning, the strange structural and behavioral model of democratic politics in Kenya must be measured against the omnipresent theory of limited government, which configures, pervades, and I'm sorry. I need to retake this, Josephine. I cannot miss all these English. And you're saying, and impregnates every provision of the Constitution. That is Josephine from Githurai this morning. And those are some of the comments coming on to us through the social media handles and our SMS code that remains 24044. In case you'd like to join in any of our conversations so far, that is the SMS code you can use, 24044, and the social media handles SHANI TV KE on YouTube, SHANI TV Instagram, Twitter, SITG into brackets SHANI TV on Facebook. And moving on, I remember there is this video. I'm sure all of you saw this video. The video, it's all about a woman. She got slapped on the face by a man that is in Kisii. And do you know the reason as to why this woman got slapped? I would like to tell you exactly what happened to this woman, because we also have the clip. It was on February where we saw a woman being assaulted by a man for shouting Azimio at Deputy President William Ruto's rally in Kisii. And freedom of expression, you have your rights. But sometimes we did misuse our rights as well. And before we have a look on that clip of the woman, I remember I told you the issue of freedom of expression. What exactly does it happen? As much as you have the freedom to speak, You also need to know when to speak and how. Maybe that is another thing, because it doesn't, because you have all the freedom, you can just say anything that you want. But it was so unfortunate for the woman to be assaulted by this man for only shouting Azimio. I remember the Deputy President William Ruto was all about the Kenya Kwanza Alliance, and he was campaigning in Kisii. But of course, the woman was behind the people. And when the Deputy President was saying Kenya Kwanza, the woman was there saying Azimio. And of course, she got slapped. A sign of assaulting by a man in Raleigh in Kisii. And maybe having a quick look on the clip about the woman, how she was being slapped, before we get to continue with our topic this morning.
Nikisema Kenya kwanza, tunasema kazi ni kazi. Kenya kwanza, Kenya kwanza. Nikisema kazi ni kazi, tunasema pesa mfukoni. Kazi ni kazi. Nikisema Kenya kwanza, tunasema kazi ni kazi. Kenya kwanza, Kenya kwanza. Nikisema kazi ni kazi, tunasema pesa mfukoni.
Think, of course, as you've just seen a very funny clip, but I'm really sorry for that. And of course, that's all what I'm saying. It's all about freedom of speech in the country, as indicated in the Kenyan Constitution. You have the freedom to speak, but of course, what, where, when to speak is more important than what you're saying. And moving on away from that, we also have under the Bill of Rights, as we're getting to maybe the close of the end of the show, we also have on the fourth chapter of the Kenyan Constitution, that is what we're tackling today. And we have the Article 38, it's all about the political rights. And under the political rights, Article 38 of the Chapter 4 of the Kenyan Constitution, we can see every citizen is free to make political choices, which includes, 1, the right to form or participate in forming a political party. As I told you exactly. Another one, a right to participate in the activities of or recruit members for a political party, or even to campaign for a political party or cause. That is where the whole content is. Every citizen has a right to campaign for a political party or cause. Right to campaign. That is exactly in the Kenyan Constitution, Chapter 4, Article 38. If you just like to maybe have a look at your own time. And being all about democracy and politics in Kenya, why do you have to assault someone because he or she is getting to the things? As long as we said, as much as you're speaking, if you're not causing any chaos, you have the right to speak. And from the political rights side of the Article 38 of the Kenyan Constitution, we can see any person has the right to campaign for any political party. And when you conjoin these Article 38, Article 39, and Article 36 of the Kenyan Constitution, Chapter 4, that is the Bill of Rights, you can see any person has the freedom to speak, as long as he's not anticipating or maybe he's not using hate speech. The second part of it, every person has the right to move from the different places of the country to different places. And the third one, as you've just seen, the Article 38 of the Bill of Rights, Chapter 4, that is the Chapter 4 of the Kenyan Constitution. Every citizen has the right to participate or campaign for any party. It's your right, because you can choose, I want to be in the Azimio la Umoja, One Kenya Alliance, Kenya Kwanza, any other coalition that you want to. You have the right to campaign in a peaceful manner. But now, why exactly do we need to cause chaos because someone just comes to maybe have campaigns in our area? Don't we know that we get to break the law and maybe getting to sample some of your comments before we continue? I can see on our Twitter handle this morning, you tweeted at James Body. You're saying tuned in from Kileleshwa, enjoying the show, informing me as usual. Thank you very much, James, for that. And I have a different one. You're saying politics and democracy in Kenya. That is something we need to understand. Let our young men and women please avoid this hostile environment you're creating to our political leaders. How comes they come? You throw stones on their convoys, and when they get elected, you start complaining that they don't come to our areas. What exactly should they come for? Is it stoning or is it infrastructure development, exactly as you've just heard. What exactly do you need those people to come for? Just assume the president comes at your area, you throw stones all over, maybe you or maybe you're doing it out of will. You're saying, I want to do this exactly. And you find yourself throwing stones at the deputy president or even the president or any other political leader leaves. And after he or she leaves, you start complaining all over social media. Oh, you know what exactly? They're not coming to build our roads. As things we have really asked on Twitter, and unfortunately, he or she didn't tell us where he or she is watching us from. But thank you very much for tuning in. She's saying that what exactly do they need to come for? They come, you throw stones at them, they leave. And then you start complaining that no developments are continuing. In between the two, as Otham, who might be fooling each other, who might be. And that is why today I need to make you understand the Bill of Rights, and maybe you might decide to change your mentality and the way you handle issues. And of course, the Morning Informant, it's all about informing. We don't just state but explain. We always make sure we make you understand exactly the point at home. And of course, if you don't get anything into, maybe if you don't think clearly, rather, you can feel free to join in this conversation even later via our social media handles. That is the SHANI TV KE on YouTube, SHANI TV, Instagram and Twitter, Facebook, SITG into brackets, SHANI TV. You can join in the conversation as well. And maybe to the ones who are using the SMS code that we have specifically for you is 24044. That is the code you can use to join in any of our conversation, because we really value and pleasure and take have joy, take pleasure in your comments. That is why we've set a specific SMS code for you, that is 24044. And sampling some of your comments coming in on all our social media handles, I can see you are saying that Kenyans should make sure that they are trying as much as they can to avoid being swimmed in, I don't know exactly what you meant by that, into politics, but rather they just look at politics from a distance. That is Victor watching us from Meru. Thank you very much for tuning in. And I have a different person who is saying that we all have to we all have a right fair and regular elections based on our universal suffrage and the free expression of the will of the electors. Exactly. That is Jane from Limuru. Thank you very much, Jane, once more. And those are some of the comments coming through our social media handles. And as we are getting to wind up 15 minutes to the top of the hour, we are getting to tackle today being Monday, political matters, all about democracy and politics in the country. And on that note, I would just like to continue with what I was saying before. I said that earlier on there is also a penal code indicated on the chapter 63, revised edition 2012-2010, published by the National Council, by law reporting with the authority of the Attorney General. And of course, every choice you make has consequences. And like today, before we wind up our show, I will always tell you the other side of it, because there is always the penal code. What you do, some consequences with it. And of course, today we just shall look on the chapter of the penal code as published by the National Council for law reporting, with authority of the Attorney General. And before we get there, we are continuing with the rights, and we have every citizen in the country has the right, without any unreasonable restriction, to be a candidate for public office or office within a political party. The citizen is a member, and if elected to hold office, I'd like you a point to note that every adult has the right without unreasonable restrictions. Like we've seen different political leaders. You can choose to be in the ODM, you can choose to be in the UDA, NAC, Kenya, Wiper, ANC, any other political party that you would like to be, including Ford Kenya, and maybe Chama, the Farmers Party as well. You can decide to be in that party, because in the Article 38 of the Kenyan Constitution, Chapter 4, that is Bill of Rights, Political Rights, it says that every citizen under any unreasonable restrictions to be a candidate for public office or office within a political party of which the citizen is a member, and if elected to hold office. And I remember last week On Monday, that is 28th, we saw the Nairobi women representative Esther Passaris being goons during campaigns in Westlands. We saw that, of course, it was all over social media handles. And because our work is to make you understand better, we always support whatever we say with some a little bit kind of evidence of clips all over. On Monday 28th, the women representative for Nairobi, that is Esther Passaris, was attacked by goons during campaigns in Westlands. And of course, her lorry was blocked with an interest. They were saying that maybe she get to give out something like money, as usual, to pass it. And her campaign lorry was totally destroyed with some broken panes, some lights being broken. And on that note, I'd like us again to have a look at that clip of the women representative being attacked on the during her campaigns in Westlands area. That is on Monday, the 28th. Exactly what was done to the Nairobi women representatives campaign lorry. So unfortunate again. And as I've just said, every person has the right to be elected, that is to be a candidate for public office, as she's doing. Exactly, she's right currently the women representative in Nairobi County, and and as you can see, she was campaigning because she's hoping on to get another chance to lead the same people. But unfortunately, goons decided to just attack her campaign lorry and destroyed it. What exactly are we doing as a country? And of course, from whatever has been done, beginning from the story of the Kondele side of it, I'm sure the cabinet secretary, that is the interior cabinet secretary, Mr. Magoha, ordered people to be arrested, and we saw people being arrested concerning the issue of the story of the ODM party leader Raila Odinga on Friday. So far, we have got dozens of people being arrested because, of course, you cannot be allowed to misbehave in the country. That is the work of the DCI, because even from the clips, you can be able to understand. And, of course, we've seen even senior political leaders, amongst them being Mr. Oscar Sudi, being interrogated by the Directorate of Criminal Investigation, that is the DCI. And on that note, being 10 minutes to the top of the hour before we get to the penal code, I'd like to jump just sample some of the comments on social media handles. We have on Facebook, Honorable A. Chege. She's saying, thanks, Gonjo. SHANI TV is home. I love it here. Thank you very much again for tuning in as well. Maybe moving on to a different side of it. We have Good Morning Informant, Gonjo. SHANI TV is the true mark of Kenya. That is Wilfos watching us from Kajiado town. Thank you very much for tuning in. And this morning again, I have a different comment you saying on politics and on democracy and politics in the country. Sorry, it's like you just miswrote it, but of course it's politics and democracy. On politics and democracy in the country, we need to have our young men being set apart and being taught on how to tackle political leaders, because they are always complaining that there is unemployment. But how can these people get to create jobs for you if you getting to misbehave? Inabidi tujue kuishi na watu. That is Josephine from Limuru. Again, thank you very much, Josephine, for tuning in. And we have Joshua Zima. I can see your comment this morning. You're saying, good morning, Morning Informant. I'm enjoying the show with my family from all the way from Zimmerman. And when it comes to politics and democracy in Kenya, it's a good thing our leaders, again, learn to talk with our young men. Because our young men, they are so energetic. When they are given a small amount of money, they just find themselves misbehaving. And exactly from whatever Josephine said, that our young men should try to, in Swahili, she said, tujifunze kuishi na watu. Exactly, try as much as you can to live with other people, because no man is an island. You shall need this person. But of course, I have another one who is saying, good morning, Mark, watching you guys from the CBD. And all I can say to our leaders who are spreading hate speech, kindly try as much as possible not to incite our able, energetic young men in the country. Some of your comments coming through our social media handles and our SMS code as well. And of course, getting straight to the penal code, as I promised you, is published on the chapter 63 of the revised edition 2012-2010 by the National Council of Law Reporting with the authority of the Attorney General. It says, any person who willfully and unlawfully destroys or damages any property is guilty of an offense which, unless otherwise stated, is a misdemeanor and is liable, if no other punishment is provided, to imprisonment for 5 years. Let me just repeat these. From the Penal Code, Chapter 63, Revised Edition 2012-2010, published by the National Council for Law Reporting with the authority of the Attorney General, states that any person who willfully and unlawfully destroys or damages any property is guilty of an offense which, unless otherwise stated, is a misdemeanor and is liable, if no other punishment is provided, to imprisonment for 5 years. Imprisonment for 5 years for just destroying someone's property. It might be a house, it might be a car, like what we've seen in different places of the country. Cars being stoned, cars being burnt. We've also witnessed that in some political chaos in different parts of the country. If held liable, you might serve a sentence of up to 5 years. 5 years in jail for just throwing a stone to a political leader who, of course, hasn't done anything wrong to you. 5 years in jail for maybe being lighting on fire on someone's car who didn't even affect you. 5 years in jail for maybe destroying someone's window pane, someone's side mirror for a petty reason. Why exactly are we heading as a nation? Of course, I cannot forget to get your comments as they are coming in this morning, and having a straight look side of our social media this morning. I have Good Morning Informant. Our young men and women are very much able to do things that can help the country. But unfortunately, I don't know what cardamom in quotes, comes in them, and they find themselves doing petty things. That is Tony watching us from Kasarani, I think this is Kasarani. Thank you, Tony, wherever you're watching us from this morning. And I have Calvin, you saying you're watching us this morning from Kileleshwa, and Calvin is saying this morning that I'm tuned in with my family, and all that I would like to say, let our politicians have that mentality of a parent. How can you pay someone 500 or even 1,000 or even any amount to just throw stones to a different person and end up in jail for 5 years? What is that what you want for the country? That's Calvin watching us from Kileleshwa this morning. And of course, those are some of your comments. We also have Hamza tuned in. Abdul, I can see you tuned in this morning. We have Martin tuned in again. Dawn, I can see you tuned in. Social media handles again, and having a straight different look on this side of our comment section. On the side of the code, we have this morning, I can see Jose, you saying I'm tuned in all the way from Nairobi. We have Peter Ndeto, you saying I'm watching the Morning Informant all the way from Mweki. Thank you very much for tuning in. And of course, today was all about political issues, political Monday. That is all exactly we tackle during our Mondays. Political Monday. And today we have discussed, of course, about democracy and politics in the country. Because there is a possibility the route we're following is not the right route. And a lot of people, the one that raised a lot of concern, if there isn't one, just 2 days ago, that is on Friday, April 1st, we saw a group of young men throwing stones to the ODM party leader Raila Odinga, the Azimio One Kenya Alliance presidential flag bearer on the August 9th general election. As per the result, we've seen different leaders being held in custody of being set aside for questioning by the DCI. And all that we're emphasizing for, we have the Constitution. Kenya is a country that is, of course, ruled by Constitution, and the Constitution is very much all broken down. And today, basically, it is all about the Bill of Rights. You as a person, you need to understand your rights, And as much as you need to understand your rights, you also need to understand other people's rights, because once you understand your right, it shall help you accommodate the other person. Because as you've seen, maybe a lot of people are getting lost because of lack of this knowledge, and that is why today it's also all about freedom of speech, freedom of expression, that is freedom of movement, and political right. You have a right as a person to campaign in a peaceful manner in any part of the country. You also have a right as a person again to enter into a public or selected. And so this reason of throwing stones all over to political leaders, where exactly does it come from? That is a question we need to understand. Being 2 minutes to the top of the hour, I cannot forget to thank our sponsor this morning, that is Aqua World KE. Aqua World KE, of course, they are the best sellers in town of purified drinking water, a water that comes in 500 ml, 1 liter, 5 liters, 10 liters, and 20 liters. That is Aqua World KE. And of course, you can get them on all the social media handles as Aqua World KE. And just to remind you, their water is just a phone call away. You can just make a call from the comfort of your office, from the comfort of your home, from the comfort of anywhere you are. Their number is 0716 007 075. That is their number, 0716 007 075, in case you just like to call them for an order. And again, the better side of it, do high quality, customized labels for graduations, weddings, bridal parties, that is why weddings, it might be baby showers, and also they also do the customized labels for all the events you might need. Maybe it's a very small event, the dowry payment. They also do the same high quality customized labels with a very, very affordable price. And of course, I cannot leave the studio without thanking you for tuning in this morning to the Morning Informant. It takes you time to tune in and get informed and learning. And of course, I can see you have a lot of your comments coming in, but because we just not even 1 minute, we are past the hour. That is exactly at 9 a.m. I'd like to thank you very much for tuning in to the Morning Informant. And of course, to our director, our engineers, our able men and women behind the scenes, thank you very much for making this show a success. Mina, see you tomorrow morning, same time, same channel. That is SHANI TV. Bye bye. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Grace Life Church invites you to our Sunday services. Join us for fellowship, prayers, uplifting praise and worship, and life-transforming sermons. The order of our services is intercession from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., ambassador service from 8 a.m. to